And we're live. Everybody, thanks for tuning in to Agents Who Win, bringing agents, winning people who can help us build our business further. I want to welcome Rebecca and Josue Soto, good friends of mine from NAREP, fellow agents as well. So, guys, I just wanted to talk and just get to know you guys a little bit more about your story. And, you know, you guys are coming to us live from Puerto Rico, which is awesome. You know, you're here local Orlando residents, but went to Puerto Rico for the big EXP announcement that they just opened there. So let's talk about that for a minute. Just how was the announcement? How is everything going there? What's the growth rate look like since they just announced, et cetera?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us on the show. We are very honored to be here with you.
Thank you.
We certainly value the relationship that we have with you, Todd. You are inspirational, and I look forward to all of your morning memes and jokes that keep me going
I love Todd.
in the morning. So thank you for that. But yeah, we're here in Puerto Rico. We're super excited. It's something that we've been working towards behind the scenes, and I say behind the scenes because it was because the island had not opened, and there is no active recruiting done in a country where things aren't open yet. But you are allowed to have a conversation with your friends, and that's what we had. Was a group of friends that had come and said, we want to know more about this. But it wasn't just one or two. And how do we know so many people living in Orlando on the island? Well, first of all, Josh and I are of Puerto Rican descent, but we've never lived in Puerto Rico. And but through our relationships that we've established, our networks, we've come to know a lot of agents. And also on our team, we do have an agent that is also a real estate broker in Puerto Rico. So we all combined had a lot of connections on the island.
Awesome.
And so those friends just say, hey, we see that what you guys are doing over there. We want to know more, right? We just want to know what's going on. And I'm like, you know what? If this may or may not be for you, but sure, let's have a conversation and let's see if it's something that would interest you and that we could perhaps see if EXP would even consider opening in Puerto Rico. So if it's something that they can do, right? I know that they had global expansion on their minds. And so let's open up that conversation, right? So we are excited because from those talks, we did gather up a very large group of agents. And through those relationships, we did invite Michael Valdez to attend one of those virtual meetings that we were having. And this is all done virtually, by the way, initially. And he saw the group that we had cultivated, took a look at the leadership that was coordinating on the Zoom. And then just did his research on two of the agents and that live there on the island and says, hey, he made an offer to one of them, which is our dear friend, Ivelis Lopez. We just interviewed her right now in our live Married in Real Estate show this morning. So we just came from that. But we are so honored to be here today because it's like we had a vision. We set out. We just kept these people in tune with what's happening. Some of the talks were just updates of what was happening here in the mainland of the United States, and they're excited. And here we are, the pre-launch of EXP Puerto Rico, and it's a tribute to anything that you work towards, you can achieve. And so we're so excited to be just a small part of this opening here.
Yeah, one of the things that impressed me a lot about the pre-launch, Todd, was that there were close to 300 people on that Zoom. And the majority of them were real estate agents in the island.
Nice.
So see that. I mean, when you look at it, Mexico had over 425. I mean, Puerto Rico fits in Mexico. I don't know how many times.
I mean, we're talking about little Puerto Rico, big Mexico.
So to see that impact on that Zoom call, it really showed how they're determined and willingness to hear what EXP Puerto Rico is going to be about. So, I mean, to me, that was impactful.
The interest was there for sure.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you guys get to go there, and I'm surprised it took so long to open there because I see half of our leadership going there. Jay's there, Mike's there, my coach, Mike Urbich's there, and a lot of the others are all going there. I'm like, we're live from Puerto Rico. I'm like, hey, this is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince her to move, but we want the kids to finish school. I'm like, hey, beautiful way to live.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And you brought up a good point, because there are so many Americans moving to Puerto Rico. There was a comparison that Puerto Rico's the new Monaco, right?
Yeah.
So,
The affordable Monaco.
there is a huge benefit for those who are earning a lot of money to come here, and the taxes are lower, and so it just makes sense. So there's a lot of people making that move, and Josh and I personally, because we have family that lives here and we want to be close to them, we were already in the market to buy a second home here. So it's an added benefit that you can get that discount, and so we're excited about that for 2021.
Yeah, our business partners. I mean, Michael. We had dinner with them last night. Michael and Jay, man.
Yeah.
One of the things that he brought up, which I wasn't even aware of. I know, it's called La Ley 2022, the law 2022. And one of the things that he 22. One of the things that he brought up, man, Todd, that blew my mind was he said that he invested. I'm not sure how much, what amount of money it was. Don't hold me accountable to that, but he said if he would have invested that same money between December 1st to December 31st, the amount of money that he made in stocks, he would have paid 0% to the IRS, and he ended up paying 40% on his earnings.
Yep.
And he says, "Oh, that blew his mind. Like right now, you get all those tax brackets, and plus you only pay a 4% IRS tax when you invest in the island and you live here." Yes.
Yeah. Well, I remember Gene Frederick moving there, and basically because of that, the others have started going because the revenue share, the capability of what the revenue share can bring, it makes it worthwhile, going there. And it's, it's island life. I don't care what island you're on, island life.
I want to bring up another point, because as Puerto Ricans, we know the island, and many of you that have already visited know it's a beautiful paradise. Always warm. Right now it's 80 degrees. We're in January, and it's sunny. There's a cool breeze, so it feels good. And it's just.
Let me get my cold sweater on.
I'm sorry. How cold is it in Orlando?
It was 40 this morning.
It's up in the north.
Yeah.
But it's always sunny. The beaches are beautiful. The food is amazing. The music is vibrant. The nightlife is amazing. I mean, there's just nothing. And then you get the beautiful combination of beach life and mountain life, and you can have that peaceful retreat as well. So, but many people who've never been here are often afraid. And so last night we met with Jay Pinder and Michael Reese, and there was another gentleman, I forgot his name right now. I think it was Jimmy.
Yeah,
but
Jimmy.
He's from Dallas, and he made the comment that when they invited him, he was like, I want to go to Puerto Rico. And then now he was scheduled to leave today, and he's like, I don't want to leave Puerto Rico. I said, you need to do a video on that, please.
Oh, it was so funny, Todd.
What is the tough read? Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So once you see the island, you can't unsee the island.
Yes.
You will be captivated by its enchantment. I promise you.
Awesome.
And you know what, Todd? One of the things that I love is that even though we are, the majority of wealth and all that, it's moving to the island, but they're actually pouring into the island. They're giving back to the island, which is important. Building the economy here. And I love to see how they're able to just give back to our island and you know what? And see the bigger picture of what we're going through as an island right now. And I love that. To me, that means everything.
Well, and I love that. I mean, it's nice that the growth there, and it's convenient for us. Obviously, in Orlando, it's a quick flight, getting back and forth. So, moving on, I want to talk about you guys and what you guys have done, your journey. You started another podcast called Married in Real Estate, but let's take it back to when you guys got first licensed and working together, because my wife and I work together, and sometimes we never leave work, which is we want to have our moment of like kids and us versus, hey, let's all have these work discussions. And especially with the businesses we're building right now, you're always on, you're always thinking, you're always innovating with new things. So you guys were an independent before. What was your team like then, or what made you go indie originally versus going to the brokerage? That's a big paragraph that should be answered in a sentence.
Yeah, well, being indie for almost 10 years, made us realize, to be honest with you, it's like one of the things that I always recommend, Todd, being in partnership with with your, well, it doesn't matter if it's your wife or whoever it is, you have to always hear them out. You know, one of the things that I realized is that for years, Rebecca was actually analyzing and seeing things that were not really going the way we should have been going. You understand, as an indie. And I would listen to her, but I always felt that, you know what, we'll get through that. We'll get through that. We'll figure it out. But that figuring out actually ended up being the same every single year. The more we pour into it, something else will come out. And I mean by technology, I mean just other, things that come up within our business. So when this opportunity was presented to us a couple years prior, we kind of we didn't feel like it was the right thing. And when about a year, 16, 17 months ago, well, 18 months ago, we were presented this opportunity. But what was most important, the opportunity was presented to us on a way that we were able to build each other. You understand? And it really touched me at the part that we're here for each other. We're going to grow together. We're going to build leaders. We're going to it was more of a unification and a partnership that I was looking for, not only for me, for my wife, and for my whole entire team. So when I went back, I remember to this day, I went back to the office and I told Rebecca, hey, we're done. And she was like, what? I said, we're moving. She was like, really? So we had this conversation, and, it was a very emotional time, because this is something that, we built something for 10 years, but I knew in my heart, we both knew in our heart that it was the best thing for us in our careers at the moment, and for our team members and our future team members. And when we looked at the model, we looked at what was important to us. Man, it was a win-win for us, Todd, So this was back in December, and in March, the majority, August, in August of 19, we made the move to EXP together with our team. And I tell you, man, it's been eye-opening, and it's been a blessing to us in the sense that we don't feel alone out here.
Right.
When we can pick up the phone and call Todd, for instance, that you're on the call, we can just sit down and just talk about, what I might be struggling with, or you may be, asking questions about, and not be able to, to be able to share, man. Many of us were in the same market for how many years, but we've really known about each other, but we never really collaborated the way we collaborate now, because this is
all that can be done, and it just nobody does, and it's like we're all here to grow from each other.
Right.
Exactly. To me, it don't even feel like a partnership, man. It feels like I just inherited another family member.
Something I wanted to add was my pain point as an indie was that, there are no systems created. You're creating all your systems. And in order for you to get ahead, you got to, and this is still true in anything, you have to invest in coaching, right? And so we had made the mistake of investing in it's not that it was bad coaching, but it wasn't coaching in the direction that we wanted to go. And so misplacing money and things like that. And I was exhausted. I was like, I feel like I'm recreated the wheel. The industry is moving 1,000 miles an hour. The technology is also moving 1,000 miles an hour. And I said, we need to take a serious look at what we're doing here, because we were at that point where we needed to make a change. We needed to make a shift, and the decision, the idea was, we're either going to invest further in this indie, do all these things, get these extra hires, or align ourselves with a company that can take us the next 20 years, And we started taking a look at some of the different brands out there, and honestly, this one just had all the opportunities that aligned with the values that were most important to us, and also relieving us from some of the stresses of owning a brokerage that we just didn't want to carry. As I saw what we were going through, and also seeing a lot of our partner friends, brokers in the industry who've already had the large offices and how they were scaling back. I'm like, why are you scaling back? Why are you doing that? Why are you making that decision? And they didn't necessarily join EXP. So these brokers are all making different decisions for different reasons. But I looked at that closely. I don't want to make the same mistakes. And I already know the things that I don't want to do. And losing my freedom was a big deal. So I wanted to gain freedom.
Right.
So how do I continue scaling up without losing my freedom in it. So this really just did make most sense for us. This
Yeah,
move,
really did.
and it's been amazing. It's been
amazing.
We've been how many months in? 18 months in?
We just celebrated 18 months, and you know, to be able to, you know, to see what EXP has done to us on a personal level, but on a family level and on a partnership level, I would have never imagined. I'll be honest with you, Todd, and thank you, man. You're a great friend. You're an amazing person to get to know and understand how you run your team and how we're able to, like, I can't continue saying it anymore, how we're able to collaborate and build it together, you know?
So, you know, when we were looking at going into when I left Remax, and, you know, Angie and I, we had a lot of decisions to make. And when we decided to make the move over here too, it was like, I felt we would have been working a lot more together, working on things we didn't want to work on together. And that's why I think it's nice, you know, that just kind of talking about working with your spouse, like who fits what role? Do I be the broker? She's the manager. She's the admin. She's, you know, what role does she sell? Are we both going to sales? Because, you know, there is a lot of responsibility working in the background, especially, you know, and you got to find that happy medium, you know, when you guys are working together, you're both in sales. One of you guys is in sales. How are you guys working?
Well,
I think it's been an evolution.
That's a great question.
It's been an evolution because when we first started, we were both in sales, right? So we were both independently working on our own clients, doing our own paperwork, and just kind of building that database. But, you know, we've been in the industry for this year will be 15 years. And so that was before the financial crisis of 2008. So when that happened, everything kind of like took us by storm. And I made a decision to go help a friend in a title company and process short sales for them. So Josh had all the responsibility for a long time. And so even though I stayed in the industry, right, I never let go of my license. I never publicly
denounced my role as a
my role in the company. Any clients that came my way was always referred back to Josue. So when I shifted back after everything is getting better and I shifted back into the company, now the dynamics have changed and they're a little different, right? So he really has been running the show by himself for the most part. And so now I'm just trying to see where do I fit in all of this? And so, you know, I think this is going to look different for so many different couples, but you really do have to look at what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Josh is really great, go-getter out there, networking, making, getting those new clients and converting. And so for me, it was a little bit more on the administrative side, the marketing side, and training side for agents and things like that. So it just kind of evolved into more of that.
Yeah, and one of the things that, Todd, that made it more clear to us is that when we went to Agent to CEO conference and we were able to sit down with John Kitchens and Wally and Jeff Kiani and all that, and they send over a questionnaire to Rebecca and I, and this was probably almost like 9 months ago, and basically we were able to analyze what our responsibilities are clearly. And once we sat down with them and at that coaching section, man, it really gave us a clear picture of what we should be focusing on, what's important to us for us to grow our business, how we should be structuring ourselves, how should we structure the team. And that's very important, you know, because sometimes you may have a vision of something, but in reality, it may not be the correct way to do it. So we all have gone through that, right? I mean, you laugh because it's true. So for us to see that, we were like, oh, okay. Because he was like, okay, so I see that your name is here and Rebecca's. Whose responsibility is it? Yours or hers? So it's something that it makes you think and realize, hold on a second, something is not right here. So
you pointed out a word earlier that I think my wife hates that I say is, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That was, you know what's funny? I really think that's a man thing because that's exactly what I say. But no, they made it figure. They were like, oh no, you're not figuring it out. We're going to discuss this right now.
Yeah.
We get to know each other really well.
Right.
And so, you know, I would just kind of fill in the gap wherever help was needed. So I see that there's a need over here. You can't, I got this.
Yeah.
You know? And so we just kind of work off of each other that way. But in doing that, you don't have a systemized way.
Right.
And you also don't have a way to teach others, because if they don't have that same dynamic, they don't get it. And they're like,
Right.
how do you teach that? So
Mhm.
it wasn't a good model. I mean, it worked for us, but it wasn't a model teaching it forward to other people.
Yeah, once we were able to figure that out, Todd, it's been, we still, we communicate very well. We talk about things, and we still, like, if something comes up, we discuss it. But it's more clear now. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Our vision is more clear now. And what's the most important, Rebecca just mentioned, is that how we're going to be able to build leaders within our organization and build our agents if they're seeing, like, they're not seeing a clear path. You understand? So now they're able to understand who's who. Like, they'll reach out to her for certain things. They reach out to me certain things. It's not that they don't reach out to me with something that they don't want to mention to her. But the point is, they understand what's important, and who should they be reaching out to.
Well, it's nice. I mean, like, working with Angie, we can see the same vision. We want to get on the same path. We have a different idea sometimes on how we're getting there, or how fast the growth is. Sometimes I have to slow her down. Sometimes she has to slow me down. But it is good we have the same path forward on what we want to do, and that's a big thing, because if you guys have different visions, it's not going to work.
You said it right. Mm-hmm.
You just said it. You hit it right on the number.
And the thing is, I think when you're talking about visions, each one of us are going to have slightly different visions, but I think it's important to have those talks and see how those visions can come together, so that you work together intentionally every day towards the same goals.
Correct. That's the main idea there. So, like, for us, we've got young kids, 11 and 13. We always want to, I want to be home by 4:30 to go see them from school. I'll catch up on some other work later in the evening. You guys, your kids are older. But Jose, you're wrapped up in so much stuff with NAREP and everything, and leadership there. It's like, where do you find the time to do all that stuff?
One of the things that I learned a long time ago, Todd, was listen to your wife. Put it all on a calendar.
Well, put it on
No.
You heard that right there, Rebecca.
I remember everything, but I'm not. You got to understand. You got a business partner. She has to see how your calendar looks too. So when I was able to understand what she meant, and we're both on the same page, I learned how to find balance. What's important, honestly, Todd. You're right. I have a lot of responsibilities. I'm on an art national board. We ran a successful chapter in Central Florida. I was a coach for a year and a half. I coached over seven chapters throughout the nation. And to be honest with you, to me, I'm so passionate about the purpose of the organization that's what drives me. I just can't. I have a passion that I feel like, and I tell you this respectfully, that we're here for a reason. God created me for a reason, and that's to build others. It's not about us. So one of the things that I take personally is that I don't think about us anymore. I want to think about the next person and the next person and the next person. So if I feel like I'm failing that person that I'm supposed to be directing to build them, then what's my purpose? Because we're very blessed. God has given us things, continue giving us things, but we got to pay it forward, Todd. And that's the way I live my life personally. We live it because I want to be able to be present to give back to whoever's in need. I don't, even if it's a 5-minute conversation to a 10-minute conversation, but wherever I can put myself in to give back, I want to be able to do it.
But I think going back to his question, you hit that important part, which was that we synchronized our calendars so that each one of us knew what we were doing throughout the day, and not to book accidentally and on top of something that was important for us, but always taking that time out. So at the end of the day, having those dinners together with the family, that's important. And for us, because we would make sure that we have breakfast together with the family as well. So those are 2 times that are very sacred throughout our day. Having those movie nights, having that extra time to do whatever, even if it's just lounging around in the house, but we're there together present with each other.
Right. You're not lounging with your phones. You're lounging with each other. You're in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You need that.
And then even like when we go on our business trips and things like that, because for a while we had a lot of business trips with NAREP and other things that we were involved in. but we always took that extra time, whether it was getting there a day early and leaving a day later, so that we could just spend time together, right? Just have that day to wherever we were at, to just go sightsee, do whatever it is, to enjoy that place and enjoy each other,
Yeah.
So that we've always been very good at doing that, and we pretty much do everything together as well. So like, it would be nice to divide and conquer, but sometimes we just enjoy doing things together.
And one of the things we enjoy, you mentioned earlier, Todd, was, having your young ones. Man, let me tell you, I miss those times, believe it or not. As stressful as it was, I enjoy coaching my kids, softball and baseball teams. I enjoy just sitting there and just being a fan of them. Those are the times that those are my moments, that
I think when I had the most fun selling real estate was when I was coaching them, because I would go between games and like, hey, you might see me in a Pirates jersey or a Cardinals jersey, but I got my daughter's game at 11, my son's game at 2, so I'll get you those 3 houses in between those games.
Absolutely, and that's exactly how we balanced it, man. I remember those 8-9 hours in the ballpark on Saturdays and coaching both 2 teams at the same time. Man, those are memories that that's what we're here for. That's what we live for, So, you know what? As a friend, I tell you this: enjoy every moment of it, man. Because it goes by so fast. It goes so fast, man. It really does.
I have my babies back.
You guys decided to start a show called Married in Real Estate. And we were one of your guests. We were honored to be there and to share our story about how we work together and stuff. And so what brought you on that journey?
Thank you. And thank you for being a guest on our show and sharing, much of your life. And Angie, we really valued that time together. But what brought us to do it, we had brought over a special guest for an event that we were holding last January. And after having spent a day with him, and it just the 3 of us all day together, we went from one event to another event to another event, and then just kind of chilled at the end of the day. He's like, my God, you guys are hilarious. You have a story to tell. I think you should write it. I think you should document that and write a book. And we're like, whoa, we should write a book? And we sat and thought about that for a minute. And we're like, this year last year, we celebrate 20 years married. And it's been an amazing ride, and we've been through so much and weathered so many storms that we thought, you know what, he's right. We should write a book, and kind of we've just journaled our path, from the time that we met, how we made that decision to change careers, and working in real estate all these years together. We've 15 years working together in the industry. We started together, so we don't know how to work any other way. And it really has provided so much opportunity for us, for our family, for the agents and our community around us, has built us up. And I feel like, and this is something that most people don't know, I was super painfully shy before all of this. And so for me, the personal growth that I have experienced throughout all of this, real estate, being associated with NARUP, and now moving forward with EXP, has just been an amazing journey. And we hope that from our life, through the life lessons and the exercises that are within the book, that it would inspire other people. So we're just honored to be able to write that book during the pandemic, be able to launch it and share it with everyone. So we're excited to be here.
Yeah, a lot of awesome things came out of the pandemic, because we had time to stop, think, create, and really evolve what we're doing. And you guys, I've got the website link here, marriedinrealestate.com. I'm surprised it wasn't taken. They've got a free book online. Check out the website. You guys have an awesome story that you have and you've shared.
And you're saying, one of the things that Rebecca mentioned was, you know what? We want to pay it forward. We want everyone to know that you're not alone out there. Every couple, even if you're not married or you're dating or you're thinking about getting married, we want you guys to know that, you know what? We've gone through it. We all going through it. We're still going through it, but it's okay. It's okay we're here for each other,
Well, I just introduced another married couple who's actually just got their license together. And they, so they're on our downline, and I'm coaching them about, like, you guys need to find roles, et cetera. I mean, I grew up in this business. Both of my parents were realtors. Actually, my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my stepdad, everybody was a real estate agent. So it was like knowing where the happy medium was with all of it. So I got to see everything that they did and how they work together. And I mean, whether you share clients, you separate clients. Now we're a little different because we all have transaction coordinators and stuff. So it's like we know who handles what part, but and how involved each other is going to be. So you got to find those roles and stuff. And this is what I'm coaching them through is, if you do that, otherwise, know who each other are and respect that. And also know when to shut down because, and it's funny because we see each other at the office all day, but we don't get to talk to each other. And so when we get home, it's like we finally get 15 minutes to chat, but we don't want to bring work home.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes that's the only time where it's quiet. Yeah. And, I bring either I have food delivered or I bring it from the house. I don't really leave for lunch. We don't go to get to have lunches that often. I'm here at 9, I'm leaving at 5 or 6. And so it's like, where's that quiet time that we can block? It should be your lunch or, you go in a little bit later to go do something.
Absolutely.
I think it's all about setting those priorities and those boundaries because oftentimes we are so about growing the business that we put everything else on the back burner.
Right.
And then that ends up suffering because too much time spent in one area is time spent away from another one. And so that other area is going to be struggling and suffering. And so if we don't pay attention and bring it and give it its time that it deserves, then it's just going to burn, right? If you put it in the back burner, it may just burn out.
One of the things that she wanted to do this year in 2021 was we're going to do a date night every week. And we're going to go pick somewhere. And it doesn't have to be a fancy restaurant. It could be just we're going to the park to go do something, or we're going to go on the boat, or we're going to do whatever. And we're going to take a idea to bring to the date night and talk about it. Not business, but personal, like something we need to learn more about each other or anything. And so that was kind of a cool thing. Now, she went away this week and left me with the kids for the weekend, so I'm kind of scared. She's on a retreat.
Some time.
So her date night is out with the 15 women up in Hilton Head.
She deserves that. I hope she has a lot of fun.
Yes, she is. I call it the Hilton Head housewives. Like just where they're at.
Supporting her in that because we all need our girl time. Also, I think that's so important. Our time for self-care that I think is also important. Just taking that time to, disconnect. Unwind, take care of yourselves. And the truth is, we put ourselves in the back burner. And so if we're not taking care of ourselves, if you're not, like, so to speak, putting the gas mask on first, you can't help anyone else. Right? You really do have to take that time, selfishly take that time. You have to take care. No one else is going to take care of you for you. So you got to take that time to refresh, and then you come back stronger and better than ever. So, and then taking that time with the relationship. So as easy as you guys have a boat, so you're taking out the boat, and it doesn't have to be spending a lot of money because at the end of the day, what's most important is that quality time that you spend with each other, that quality time that you spend with your kids. That is the biggest investment.
Yeah, you have to. I agree. I mean, with yourself, Todd and Rebecca, man, you have to be able to find that balance. You have to be able to enjoy each other's company together, spend that quality time together, but also, like Angie just went with, that separate time together. There has to be that supportive from each one of us to say, okay, because Rebecca has done it. She takes her little mini vacations, and I'm like, go ahead. You know what? So do I. Sometimes I'll go 1 or 2. You need that. You need to know that. You know what? It's okay. Go ahead. To me, it builds your relationship. It makes it stronger. That's the way I look at it.
You appreciate them more when they get home.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
I used to do a lot of. I mean, we all used to do a lot of travel, but I used to travel 3 to 4 or 5 times a year with Remax and then EXP, going to different conferences, and we started going to Arizona. And I went out to Camelback, and I called her up. I'm like, next time I come here, you need to come with me. And so that, and it also, like you guys said, we go to those places a day or two early so we can engage with each other and go visit another part of the state and come back to where the space is. And I'm going to the conference. She's not. So she's taking her quality time to herself. And then I'm in there learning and doing whatever we need to do. And it's, it was just nice being out there together, just the two of us. We have that break during the day, but we can reconvene at night and enjoy.
Absolutely.
And the business is always going to be there. Like, you can't have that mindset that if I step away from the business, it's going to crash. I mean, if that's going to happen, then you guys haven't built a strong enough
You've got the wrong business or the wrong business partner.
Exactly. We have to think about what that foundation is and what who those hires are going to be that can help to carry that out and carry out those responsibilities. And even like in the beginning, when we first used to go out, we didn't have hires. So, it might be just assigning another agent, a buyer's agent to take care of those calls when they come in, having that, hey, listen, I'd rather make a percentage than nothing, right? So if you're going to the business, hey, refer out that business, use those partners, right?
I love what you always say about Rockefeller, where you brought up if you can I would rather make 1% out of 100 than make 1% out of
100% of my own effort.
Yeah, exactly. So, that right there is amazing. When you think about just that phrase, so, we're at peace. I mean, everything is great. We have great team members. We have great partners. So to us, it's just like continue building, man. Continue building leaders. That's our focus right now.
Well, that's, we're expanding our team right now too. And we're hiring leaders within the team, or not hiring, developing leaders within the team. So as we grow, they're going to grow, and it helps further our growth. I use the word grow too much, but that's what we all are in growth mode. But it's nice doing that, because if I do need to step away, there are people that I trust to handle things. And we've somehow attracted all the right people, because when we walk into the office, and there's, close to 20 of us now, a little over 20 of us, everybody's on the same path. And it's not like the Lone Ranger going this way and then, negative Nelly over here. Everyone's on the same path. They all see the same vision. They all want to help grow. They're like, why are we growing so fast? The opportunities are there. Everyone's coming to us. It's great for that. You built the right business. People want to see it and keep going with it.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, I don't want to keep you too long. I appreciate you coming on. Guys, check out the book, Married in Real Estate. When do you guys get back to Orlando?
Monday
morning.
And that trip is a little bit more.
Yeah. Monday morning, we have some other partners we're going to meet with, and some other things that we're working on right now. But it's been great, man. It's been great.
Taking that personal time after the business trip. That's awesome.
Oh, yes. That's for sure. We're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Well, cool. Any final words for a couple that's working together? Advice we can give them?
I would say if anyone is putting any negative thoughts in your mind, shut it out. You know what's best for you. If this is something that you're interested in doing, look into it and create your goals together, your vision together, and just embark in it. It's an amazing, it has given us an amazing life, and I know I could do the same for you. So
awesome.
Yeah, same here. I think that first go to matterinrealestate.com and get your free book, free copy of the book. And also the course. One of the things that Rebecca and I learned that, the last couple of years is that sometimes we can create our goals individually, but we have to do it together also, and include your children. And that was the purpose of our first course. We wanted to make sure, especially this time of year, that everybody's working on their goals. This is very important. So,
we love getting the kids involved in that stuff. So it's, they enjoy it. And it's going to help them when they get older. Again, growing up in this business, I never thought I'd do this, but I am now. I'm doing it 25 years. So it's, but it is nice seeing, they understand the work ethic that we're putting in, and, oh my God, you got to go sell a house. No, I need to go meet a client to help build our future.
right.
They need to understand that. Well, guys, I really do appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. We had a good show today. We'll be back on Monday with Danny Betancourt and coaching tips to help build your business. Guys, thanks so much. Have a good time in Puerto Rico.
Bye, Todd.
Great day. Adios.